few weeks ago, kids have got YouTube on as they have, and ਆਪਾਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ YouTube, and the kids listen to the same stuff that they do. Mine are small, 9 and 3, and they listen to all the English stuff, but I heard them listening to a song, and it went, Guru Nanak, where are you? Here I am with Wahe Guru. And I turned around and I said, what are they watching here, and who's done this? And they were engrossed in front of the TV, and these are kids that don't sit still, and I'm sure yours are the same. ਨਿਆਣੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਔਖੇ ਆ ਬਿਠਾਉਣੇ ਇੱਕ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ, ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ, ਜੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ ਜਾਂ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ, they really don't want to sit there still. But I found that they were watching this video, listening to this song, repeating it, singing along with it. Their mum was joining them as well. They got my mum to join in as well. They got me to join in as well. And I was thinking, what is all this about? And so today, we've done a bit of research, and we've managed to get you the people who have made that song and have made a lot more animation. You saw their advert as well. Their organization is called IM1313. This is a book that they've got out, which we'll talk about later. But let me first introduce you to Pritpal Rai and Ben Barter from IM1313. Well, Sat Sri Akal ji, thank you for the show. Thank you for coming. So I was amazed. I was amazed when I saw this captivity of my kids. They're sitting there in front of this, and they're watching these cartoon characters, and they're dressed up like Sikhs, and they're talking about the gurus and animated versions. Then I thought, who's done this? And then when we've done a bit of research, then I thought, actually, it's these guys. So what made you decide, right, this is what we want to do?
I think thank you, Harjap. For me, it's being a father. Seeing my children now, and I'm thinking, how can I give them, Sikh in a way that's, not forced upon. One thing now, as you know, with children, that there's iPads, iPhones, TV. At the moment, that you're fighting for their attention.
Yeah.
So, and also, I realized very quickly that even when I play nursery rhymes to my child, I would learn them.
Yeah.
I would learn the songs I didn't want to learn, but ultimately I would learn those things. Education would come through media, and I thought, isn't this a great tool? How we, maybe we look at education the wrong way. Maybe the focus should be on entertainment, but underneath that, send the education we want. So, as my child is only young at the age, but I wanted him to have some kind of develop his consciousness and have guru in his life.
Yeah.
And I thought, what? When I was young, my grandma would tell me stories, and I was lucky to have, read certain books, and that kind of brought me closer to Guru's side, but also saved me in many situations in life. And I thought, as a parent, I can't be there for my child every time. There's going to be occasions when I'm not going to be there. How can I make sure he's making the right decisions? How can I give Guru in his life? How can I instill that love without enforcing it on him? So we started off just, with an idea. I thought, I heard a rhyme and some music, and I thought, let me just rhyme over this. And the concept came, I thought, okay, we could do this, right? It wouldn't be that difficult. However, one thing, a couple of friends at the time, we got together. Everything we did was, we felt like, where Sikh media was and where the mainstream media was, they were miles apart.
Oh, they still are.
They still are,
yeah.
So I was accustomed to watching things on Disney, for example, Hollywood. I wouldn't be interested in things that were less than that, because that's the norm for me.
Yeah.
So I thought, if you've got to do something, then it's got to be such a standard that people that are born in this country, that are accustomed to that level of media, that could relate to it. So we brought in world-class producers that worked on things like the Harry Potter films. We wrote all the songs ourselves. We brought in, we brought Snartham Chord, Taran Chord, even like Navin Kundra. We found
top singers.
Top singers, yeah. We found professional singers that could actually sing. And we actually auditioned singers just to make sure they could actually pull off the level of vocal, so it sounded authentic. And then, that's where the album My Best Friend was born, which did really, really well. And the whole idea was, again, to make something engaging, not just for Sikhs, but for the wider audience.
To educate.
Yeah, to educate, yeah. So they could enjoy the songs, but really they were learning a lot. There was a lot of content in the songs. There's a lot of thought process behind the words. And that's really where we kind of started from.
Mine repeat that, and obviously they get us roped into it as well.
That's right.
And you know, a kid, once they got remote control, it's hard to get it off them.
And like you said about the Guru's names, for example, most Punjabis, if you go to them, I can probably tell you they don't know the Guru's names. But the whole idea behind this animation and the song was that through repetition, not just the kids, but the kids would learn it. But what would happen is the parents that are around the house, hopefully they would learn it as well. Yeah. And it's like and through that, they hopefully their journey would develop and they would want to learn more, but they would know something rather than nothing. And that was kind of an inspiration, that how can we create something so fabulous that, so you could learn so much, yet would not feel like you're learning, you're just engaging with something that you really like.
Ben, how did you get roped into this? So like, you're not Punjabi, mate.
Yeah.
You don't look like a Sikh to me.
That's it.
But yeah, so how did you get roped into this? And did you know anything about Sikhs before you met Pritpal? And
Yeah, well, I've got two very close friends of mine, Jagdeep and Sadhu, who I've been friends with for over 10 years.
Right.
And so I knew a little bit about Sikhism, but I never knew as much as I've learned from being, working on these projects and just like going through with Pritpal and the whole IM1313 team.
Yeah.
And it's been fascinating because like, when we first started the lullaby, the animation, it kind of evolved into something more than that to like, introduce the 10 gurus, the 11 gurus, and then, have people like Pritpal was saying, like learning the names of each of the gurus and stuff. And it's been fascinating to see even like, say, my family and friends who are not from a Sikh background at all, like, white parents and stuff, read the book and be so fascinated by the book and asking me questions that I can actually answer. So, I've even learned, I don't know much, but I've learned quite a lot just from these guys, from working on these projects. So it's been great.
I love the way you've got, like, if we look at here and open the book here. So there's a whole Khalsa family and there's whole characters here, Hari Singh and Ram Singh and Seva Singh. They've even got a horse called Charan.
That's right.
Yeah. And they've got family and friends. They've got look like Barasan Gyan, Amrit Kaur. So you've got a whole family, like the characters. It's this, and watching the whole animation, it's almost like a Disney sort of a Netflix production. I'm quite impressed.
That's the goal. I mean, one of our goals is actually, if you look at Disney, that's kind of where we kind of want to inspire to create. Imagine if we could create a Disney style animation on a Sikh family. You look at 9/11 and look at all the crimes against Sikhs just because of mistaken identity, right? Yeah. Now imagine if we put them in a different light through animation. I know you could just change the world's opinions and the world's thought process. There's so much negativity has already been built through the media since 9/11, since all these reports of terrorism.
Just recently with the whole Indianapolis.
So animation is a fantastic way of kind of tackling that because it humanizes people. They can see someone in a turban that looks beautiful, that isn't what they think, and that was kind of our goal. And we want to take it mainstream. It wasn't kind of to keep it within the just the Sikh community. How do we take it beyond that?
Pritpal, this looks really expensive to do.
Oh yeah.
How expensive is it?
So what people don't realize is that when you do a project like this, I mean, even you've got the story, you've got the writing, the amount of energy, like Ben will tell you, it's not just we're this complete perfectionism in the sense that we will do things and go start again. We'll go back and months and months and months. I mean, that took literally, I think 9 months.
Yeah, 9 months.
9 months of work.
Well, yeah, it evolved from the lullaby to begin with, and then because the lullaby, the success of that, they were like, we need to turn this into a picture book, which like had seeing the gurus being all these different landscapes and having this reveal from like to show that the gurus are everywhere, so the kids can like engage
in everyday life.
In everyday life, yeah.
What sort of costs does, like, say if I wanted to make something like a production, we're talking thousands, right?
Thousands, yeah.
Right. So now the next question is, how are you funded?
So we started off just.
Don't say you funded this yourself.
Yes. Well, we really is still this one, and now we had a very kind of close friends and family from a local community there again that really supported us. We're very lucky, but as the projects have grown, it's got harder. And as you can imagine, as the projects, as the more adventurous we get, and trying to grow it, everything. I mean, it's always been a battle. It's never been easy.
But through this is one true medium where we can reach the whole world. Yeah. And I always say the catchphrase on this show is that no matter what the question is, the answer is always education. But this is truly, you can have this book should be in every school. I
100%.
believe it should be in every
Yeah,
school
I
library
agree.
and every class. I believe that animation should be on every channel and should be educating the public. Our public and our religion, we always say, oh, you know, we need to educate people, we need to let people know who we are. Well, you've got to engage with community, and you've got to engage with your own community first. And I feel if your own kids, you can't take them to the Gurdwara, or you can't find something interesting about your religion, or you're using the same tactics that our parents did, are either going to sit there and force you to learn Punjabi, they're going to force you to watch something which you don't find engaging or you don't want to listen to. As the age has changed, we can't expect kids to use our old teaching methods. Right. It's almost like saying to used to, all right, you teach my kids on a blackboard, and I have a blackboard eraser, right? And I don't think that wouldn't be. So I think different kids nowadays and different people need different methods of engagement. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like you say, it's the digital age is here now, right? So you're having kids are most drawn to iPads. They're on YouTube all the time. That you know. So to get that, we need to get the good content now on these platforms. So kids, like you say, you heard this noise in the song, and then you're like, what is this music? And then exactly you realise, So this is the key to get this sort of content on there, and even having a Sikh boy as the main protagonist, and like I just think it's something that this world kind of needs more of, like seeing that diversity. And since all this like the Black Lives Matter movement and things like that, this is what the world's crying out for now, to have this type of things pushed. So.
I get a lot of people messaging me, and a lot of people message this show and say, but after the Kisans we helped, we want to help more. How can we help? How can we do seva? Now, as much as I'd like to say, yeah, do langars worldwide, and that's good because there's already 50 organizations doing that. Or, buddy, let's build a new Gurdwara, a new building. There's already Gurdwara that are built, big buildings that are built. The fact is, how do we get our kids into the Gurdwaras? How do we get them knowledgeable? And how can we start that? That's going to have to start at home. And that's going to have to start through stuff like this. And if you want to do seva, if there's any people out there who want to do true seva, this is another form of seva, because education providing is the one thing that you cannot take away from anybody. And this education on YouTube will be there for a lifetime. Imagine helping something which will be there for a lifetime. It's not like you give someone a feed and it's over by the end of the day. You're feeding the soul, you're feeding their minds for a lifetime. So you can see the scroll at the bottom. This is their organization, and you can see the websites that are coming up. And these things are expensive to do, but if you want to help them, or if you're a businessman, you've got a bit of money set by, you want to help a project where you can say, yeah, I helped something. It doesn't matter how much you can help. Please, there's no point giving to those who already have money sitting in their bank. Let's help people who need the money to help produce brilliant content that your kids can watch on TV, that my kids can watch on TV, that we take for granted. I must admit, I have watched content like yourself and other stuff all the time, and I've never once thought how much it costs to make, who are the guys doing it, do they need money? And now I'm sitting here and I'm feeling a sense of shame. I'm feeling ashamed. I think some people at home must be, that how selfish are we to take? And we're known as a nation of givers. Look, when the Kisans cried out, look how much money we raised. When there were floods, look how we went out to help. We go all across the world to help. Right. And I'm sure we can help Pritpal and Ben, who are going out their way to give their time, using their money. You're using your personal funds.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
You are, right? So you shouldn't have to be. Our Gurdwaras have got enough money every week walking through their door that if one Gurdwara a week said to you, right, we're going to give you £1,000 a week for your project, yeah, it will be no scratch off their nose or nothing, no harm to them, but it could fund your project for what? A whole lifetime.
Yeah, I think these projects, for example, animation, when you do a 3D animation, for example, it can cost you something like £25,000 to £50,000 a minute. That's when you look at these animation costs to do it properly. If you want to cut corners, you can do that, right?
So even like episodes like SpongeBob, they must cost like $500,000 to make.
$500,000, yeah.
Yeah, it's big
to make, and then when you see that, people don't realise that. I mean, if you look at, for example,
and all you lot think he's just a sponge that talks that you wash your Sunday with.
But
But he isn't.
that's
Costs
right.
£500,000
That's right.
for half an hour. On to the cookie. There, a mango sponge.
it's like even the film side of it. Look, you know, if you look at Passion of Christ, which is a prime example, I thought it was such a fantastic film.
Yeah.
You know, it cost. I remember being in New York at the time, watching it 4 times because I thought, wow, imagine if we could show our history in that manner. Now that film cost like I think $30 million, which is about £90 million at the time, and I thought we built a Gurdwara for £90 million. Yet, you know, this person's created a film for £90 million, $30 million at the time, and he's touched so many people around the world. And it's literally, you know, I thought that prachar that he's done is phenomenal. You know, why haven't we replicated this? Why haven't we been able to tell our history to the world? How are we not doing this? We've got the money and the resources, yet we're happy to spend 50,000 on building a wall and all these things, which I get are important. But when you say, you know, you're spending money towards animation or something, it's almost like a taboo. People don't realize the time and effort that goes into.
Pritpal, let me tell you something. There's an animated film called Jar Sahibzade, which did amazingly. But as for us, Mariga Lenia, we couldn't even fund it as a nation. A Bollywood producer and his actor's son had to fund that film, make it, and show the world through that who the Jar Sahibzade was. This is the stuff our Gurdwara should be doing. People like me and you sat at home should be doing. We should take our daswand from some weeks and give it to people like this so your message can go around the world. How many hits have you had on your lullaby video?
Is that 1.3 million?
Yeah.
1.3 million hits.
That's right, yeah.
Right. If you'd have had 1 penny for each of those hits, 1p for each of those 1.3 million hits, you would have had a lot. That would have paid for the whole thing, right? And yet we take, and yet we don't give. So it's now time for us to step up. If you really want to do something, go and help these guys. Go to they're not here to beg. They didn't come here to beg. They came here to tell you about their book and about to let you know who they are, what your kids are watching on TV, that this is what they're doing. But I'm saying from my behalf, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ ਨਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਰੂ ਖੋਲ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ GoFundMe ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਪੇਜ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ this is the sort of stuff that will bring our kids closer to our religion, to our history, this stuff. And this stuff ਹੈ ਜੋ ਐਨੀਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਣਾਈ ਆ ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਮਾੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ it will engage your children on the iPads and the iPhones.
Also, as well, sorry to interrupt, to bridge the gap as well, like, you know, because even like people from my background and stuff have been interested in this, and it's been great to see the sales that have come on from different faiths and ethnicities. It's like, I mean, I've known Pritpal now in the IM1313 team for 2 years, and the story, like Sikhi culture is so rich in stories. I mean, I didn't even know about the Battle of Chimpor until, like, you know, about a year or so ago. And you hear movies like, and this is just an example, you hear movies like Troy, 300 and stuff, which are glorified Braveheart, glorified all over the world and stuff. And then the Battle of Chimpor is like, in my mind, is far more epic than these stories. And I was like, how is this not on the, like, you know, how does the world not know about
We have got 20 Bravehearts, 20 Troys, 20 Game of Thrones battles. We have got all of that real life in our history. And yet it's not played out. We're not told about it. We're expected to go somewhere and learn about it instead of it coming into our home. And if I just ask you, how many non-Sikhs have bought this book? Because you know, and how much feedback have you had from non-Sikhs?
I would reservedly say it would be between, I don't know.
I would say probably 1 in 10. Is from kind of.
And most of it has been because, I mean, I know my family and friends have obviously supported me, but I've also, there's a lot of people that I've not known from different backgrounds and ethnicities that bought it, just because I think it's something that's engaging. They just want to we wanted to create something that people would have a look at just because it's an engaging thing, and then to learn that it has this embedded, like, extra reach almost with the gurus and the teachings of Sikhs.
What's that story you told me about, the guys in the gym, you know, that?
Yeah, so a guy that I go to the gym and I barely speak to these.
We can tell, and I don't. We can tell that as well.
It's one of those type of situations where, you know, when you see someone quite often and it's kind of like one of those, you nod just to acknowledge them sort of thing. Never spoke more than 2 words to the person. Yeah. And I went to the gym and he knew that. He's like, oh, you're Ben Barty, you're the illustrator. And I was like, yeah, I'm working with an amazing team, IM1313. He was just like, oh, the book is fantastic. So I've never spoken to this guy at all before, but he's came to me and been like, oh, you did that, and that's what I thought was so special about this book and this project, that he was so passionate about it. That he came over and spoke to me about it. So I thought that was amazing.
Guys, thank you for coming. If you're sat at home watching this show, and there are non-Punjabi people who have bought this book and you haven't, you need to go out and buy it. You need to go out and support their projects. You need to go onto the website, donate what you can, whether it's £1, whether it's 5, whether it's 50. This is the stuff for the future. This is what your kids are watching, and this is what we need to contribute to as a society. Enu kande hai seva. It's not in the traditional form of seva. It's the new seva that our religion needs. Yeah? Not what our religion is advertising or saying that sanu aa chahiਦਾ hai. Yeah? We don't need to make rich people more richer. We need to help the people who are doing something. Any last message from yourselves? I covered it all.
That was a great message, yeah. I think.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Now, just for the kids at home who are watching, you know that song? We all listen to it. Guru Nanak, where are you? Here I am with Vaheguru. We're going to watch that now, and every time you watch it, you've got to realize these are the people who made it. So you've got to tell your mummy and daddy to help these people so they can make more songs like that and more videos for you. So here we're going to watch the song, and Appa Milde hain song to baad.